Hi boys and girls, welcome to another long video of We Are Letter। ये भी एक मैसिव वीडियो होने वाला है। आई डोंट नो कितना बड़ा वीडियो होने वाला है, पर आज हम एक पूरा का पूरा बुक ख़त्म करने वाला है। आई थिंक ये मेरा फर्स्ट वीडियो है जिसमें मैंने पूरा बुक ख़त्म करा एक ही वीडियो में। मतलब हाँ, बुक ख़त्म किया, जैसे हैमलेट ख़त्म किया हूँ, बहुत सारे एक या दो ख़त्म किया हूँ, पर इसमें मैं क्या करूँगा कि सब पूरा बुक ख़त्म करूँगा। ओके, फर्स्ट आई विल रीड ऑल द बुक्स एंड मेरे साथ बहुत सारी चीज़ें हैं मेरे साथ। पेप्सी पूरा रख के रखा हूँ साइड में पूरा। ओके गैस, सो वी आर गोइंग टू एंजॉय दिस सेशन। सो मतलब सेशन मतलब वही वीडियो। सो आप एक काम कीजिए कि आराम से ईयरफोन लगा दीजिए या जो भी आपके पास यंत्र है, कान का यंत्र है, उसको लगा दीजिए और चलो शुरू करते हैं हम। दिस इज़ द बुक स्टार्ट है, तो वो है द कैट हु सेव्ड द बुक्स बाय सुजुकी नाटासुकावा। तो ये है काफ़ी फेमस। मतलब मैंने सर्च मारा था, मतलब ऐसे सर्च मारा था तो मुझे मिल गया ये बुक रीडर्स क्या क्या चैनल का नाम, वहाँ से मुझे सजेशन मिला था ये वाला कि अच्छा बुक है। तो चेक कर कैसा कैसा बुक है। मैं रिव्यू भी बहुत सारा रिव्यू देखा हूँ इसका। लेट्स सी व्हाट्स स्पेशल इन दिस बुक। क्या है स्पेशल इस बुक में? स्पेशली हम इसका ज़्यादा आइडिया नहीं मिला, मतलब अभी तक हाँ नॉन रिव्यू देखता हूँ। तो लेट्स स्टार्ट। देखिए चैप्टर कितना टू है। तो चैप्टर का नाम कुछ इस तरह है, द फर्स्ट इन प्रिजनर ऑफ बुक। फिर है द सेकंड द मल्टी ऑफ बुक। तीसरा द सेलर ऑफ बुक। द फाइनल हाउ इट ऑल एंडेड। सो तो ये है काफ़ी। द कैट हु सेव्ड द बुक, ये कैसे कैट सेव हो सकता है? अच्छा, अब इसका जो इमेज है मस्त दिखता है, पर इसका इमेज सबसे पहले प्रोलॉग मतलब एक इंट्रोडक्शन की तरह हम इसको पढ़ लेते हैं एक बार। ओके नाउ गेट्स लेट्स स्टार्टेड। काफ़ी लंबा वीडियो बनने वाला है। पहले कभी नहीं बनाया इतना लंबा वीडियो, मतलब 1 घंटा से पार तो होगा ही होगा। Prologue. How it all started. First thing first, Grandpa gone. The tale that had fallen in pretty outgrace. We have, but he known that one fact is absolutely real. It as real as the sun rising in the morning and his stomach rumbling with hunger at lunchtime. He tried to closing her eyes, blocking his ears, pretending he doesn't know anything. But his grandfather isn't coming back. रिंतारो नाटासुकी स्टैंड हिज साइलेंट। ओके, मतलब यहाँ जो रिंटा से ना रिंटारो हम इसको हम रिंटारो बुलाएंगे। तो जो रिंटारो है वहाँ पर अपने ग्रैंडफादर क्या बोल रहा है कि उसको शाम ऐसा ऐसा हुआ था। Nakasuke stand there silent, and still his face was harsh reality. On the outside of the Rintaro seems like calm, collecting young man, but some people were found his error. He seems to be too composed of high school student who suddenly lost his closest member, seeking the corner of a funeral parlor. I stayed looked at the portrait of his grandfather। मतलब अभी जो टाइम चल रहा है, अभी जो यहाँ पर मतलब जो यहाँ पर वक्त चल रहा है वो है कि यहाँ पर जो रिंटारो है वो क्या बोलूँ मैं, रिंटारो है वो अभी अपने फादर बोलता हूँ ग्रैंड फादर के फ्यूनरल में है। वो अभी ग्रैंड फादर फ्यूनरल में है और हाँ फ्यूनरल में, और उसको अभी शौक होगा कि ये कैसे हो सकता है। In the truth, Rintaro isn't calm, collecting all. The very idea of death is unfamiliar to him. He can't make connection between it and his grandfather. A scenery man who seems to exist in different realm. He never thought death would come for grandfather. He realized his simple, almost monotonous lifestyle। मोटरनेस लाइफ मतलब रिंटारो को ये सब मतलब हो रहा है, मतलब कैसे उसके ग्रैंडफादर कैसे मर सकते हैं, क्योंकि उसके जो मतलब क्या बोलते हैं, जो ग्रैंडफादर थे वो काफ़ी फिट फाट थे, मतलब काफ़ी अच्छा लाइफ स्टाइल जीते थे, कोई बाहर खाने को नहीं करते थे। फिर भी वो कैसे ये हो गया रिंटारो। ओके for he never thought okay ये तो हो गया। As Rentaro looked at him lying him not breathing, felt detached if he's working badly, performed brilliantly. Now lying in his white coffin, his grandfather looked just the same as nothing happened at all. At any moment rumble light caffeine haters to make an usual cup of tea. He would be felt perfectly normal Rintaro, but it doesn't happen. Instead, the old man remains in the casket, his eyes closed and someone looks like on the face. The chanting of Sudra throne. Sudra कहाँ गया? Sudra throne remains in the casket and eyes closed, and Stoneman looks the chanting sutras and anonymous pass us one by one, occasionally offering Rintaro their coordinates. First thing first, grandfather girl, reality Rintaro heard. He finally massaged the switch of his word. He in this is messed up grandmother, but there is no reply. तो यहाँ पर जो रिंटारो है वो मतलब वो शौक में है अभी कि कैसे कैसे उसके मतलब जो जिसको जो दादाजी हैं वो कैसे चेंज हो गए इतना मतलब मर कैसे गया, मतलब उसको शौक कर अभी तक मतलब सदमा लगा। जैसे सोचिए कि आपका कोई मतलब मैं चाहता नहीं पैसा ऊपर, सोचिए कि आपका कोई चाहने वाला वो मर जाए तो कैसे लगेगा आपको। वैसे ही अभी उस शौक में कि रिंटारो क्या हो गया, ये मेरे सामने ये क्या हो गया, मैं आप उनको रिप्लाई मांग रहा पर मुझ सामने से रिप्लाई नहीं कर रहे हैं। वो काफ़ी सदमे में चला गया कि ये क्या हो गया, मतलब सदमे पूरा क्या बोलते हैं, उसके सामने ब्लैकआउट आ गया है। ओके, Rintaro Natsuki was ordinary high school student. He was also he was on the short side, pale, rather his thick glasses, and rarely spoke. He has no subject. He has no subject at first. He has particularly excelled at he wasn't good at sports. He was completely an average. Where Rintaro parents had split up when just a baby. And when his mother passed away around the time he started primary, he went to live with his grandfather. It has been 2 events in such living arrangement just usual for the typical high school student. But now Rintaro is normal part of dull everyday existence. But now his grandfather has passed away too. The story became more complicated. His death was that has been very sudden. मतलब यहाँ पर जो है कि ना तुझे चाहिए, मतलब यहाँ पर किसका बैकग्राउंड बताया गया रिंटारो के बारे में कि रिंटारो जो है उसके पेरेंट्स जैसे ही वो पैदा हुआ उसी समय स्प्लिट हो गए। आई नो मैन, स्प्लिट हो गए। फिर ऊपर से जब आई थिंक वो अपनी मदर के साथ रहता था तब जब वो प्राइमरी स्कूल में था तभी ही उसकी जो मदर थी वो क्या बोलते हैं से मतलब वो मर गई। तो जब मरने के बाद रिंटारो जो अपने दादाजी के समय अपने ग्रैंडफादर के साथ रहता था, तो रहते रहते और अभी सडनली उसके दादाजी का भी डेथ हो गया। सो नाउ व्हाट ही विल डू, आगे हम देखेंगे उसी का स्टोरी है गैस। मतलब इस तरह स्टोरी का प्लॉट बना रहे हैं, कैरेक्टर का ये बना रहे हैं, वो सब बना रहे हैं। His grandfather was early riser, but not briefly. The cold winter and he wasn't in the kitchen as well. Thinking it is strange, Rintaro poked his head into dim dormitory room. Grandfather slept. The old man was still tucked inside the photo, having already breathed his last. He didn't look at his it had been pain. He seems to Rintaro more likely a sculpture sleeping in the local docker open. He probably suffered from a heart attack and died quickly. He passed away. He passed away peacefully. And if you combine the kanji character for go and live, you got a stranger meaning pass away. Somewhere seeing this word the second the Moshi struck. The doctor quickly guessed the difficulty of Rintaro family situation, and no time of distance city turned. The kind-hearted, efficient woman, she dealt with everything for the paperwork related to death. तो यहाँ पर जो उसका जो दादाजी का डेथ था वो हार्ट अटैक की वजह से हुआ, जो उसको लोकल डॉक्टर बुलाइए। तो ये सब तो हो गया, पर अभी सोचिए जैसे किसी का डेथ हुआ है तो उसका कुछ साइंस करना पड़ेगा ना, मतलब फॉर्मेलिटी तो करना पड़ेगा। तो फॉर्मेलिटी एक वुमेन को डर, आई थिंक उसका नेवर होगा, मतलब डायलॉग बोल के उसका सारा जो जितना भी जो काम है वो सब कर देते हैं. पेपर वर्क रिलेटेड टू डेथ सर्टिफिकेशन of organizing funeral of other family as he was. Rintaro didn't forget to make sure he looked a bit stand despite of lingering sense the none of this real. But no matter how much he thought about it, he just bring himself a sob in front of his funeral felt absorbed to him. It would be a lie. He just would imagine Grandpa glaciering his casket. Rintaro stopped crying, and in the end, Rintaro bid the funeral. His grandfather total silence. All he left was concerns of aunt and the bookshop. Natasuki Books was a tiny second-hand bookshop of edge of the trend. The shop didn't lose any and didn't lose any enough money to consider a library, nor it make enough consider fortune. It wasn't much an inheritance. In inheritance. Hey Nakasuki, you got you some great books here. The male voice come beyond Rentaro. He turned around. मतलब यहाँ पर जो नाटासुकी का मतलब यहाँ पर उसके दादाजी का एक बुक शॉप भी था जिसका होल स्टोरी वहाँ पर होगा अभी. जो होल स्टोरी होगा वो होगा वहाँ पर. नाटासुकी का जो पूरा होल स्टोरी है वो वहाँ पर ही होगा. तो मतलब अभी पीछे से कोई इसको आवाज़ करता है, क्या बोलते हैं, रिंटारो को कोई आवाज़ करता है पीछे से. तभी कौन है वो देखते हैं. Who is that? Really? He asked, his eyes fixed on the bookshelf in front of him. There was a slips run from the floor all away from the ceiling. He felt with impressive number of books. There were Shakespeare, Wordsworth, Dumas, Flaubert, Hemingway. Too many names of the greatest masterpiece has been imaginative, distant, trusted in town in Rentaro. तो यहाँ पर जो है अभी हमारा जो बुक्स मतलब उसका बुक का सीन दिखाया जा रहा है कि उस बुक शॉप में क्या क्या था, उस बुक शॉप में क्या क्या था वो सब हमें दिखाया जा रहा है. तो उसका हम देखते हैं कि उसका बुक शॉप में ना बहुत सारी चीज़ें हैं, मतलब काफ़ी सारी चीज़ें हैं उसका बुक शॉप में. जैसे शेक्सपियर का हो गया, फिर शेक्सपियर का हो गया, फिर बहुत सारे लोगों का वर्क है. तो कि देख के हैरान था कि इतने सारे वर्क का कैसे रख सकते हैं उसके दादाजी. ओके. ट्रेनिंग बैकशॉप द डॉक्टर नाकामोरा. पीछे से कोई आवाज़ करता है. हाँ. शेक्सपियर बाय रेंटारो फीड सीमेंट सीजन Pacavin had the orange, but despite it all that best effort, the shop was doubted. Still, Rentaro knew it wasn't only the temperature. This was making me chilly. So how much for these two together? Rentaro turned his head, splitted as away. Say 3,210. Your memories are sharp as ever. The customer was a boy who was from the same high school 1 year ahead from Rentaro by the name of Ryota Akiba. Ryota Akiba मतलब कैरेक्टर का नाम है रायोटा. ये भी रेंटारो. Ryota Akibara. Okay, he was tall and slim and cheerful expression, accused with same of hope. He was quite likable among his strong physique, built up by the year of basketball training. He had been the best brain in this year. His addiction was he was the son of the local doctor. This was the boy who was the huge number of extracurricular activities. In other words, he was exact opposite of Rentaro in every. मतलब यहाँ पर जो है यहाँ पर रायाटो उसके बारे में बताया गया कि वो फिजिकली तो बहुत अच्छा है. वो डॉक्टर का बेटा, जो लोकल डॉक्टर का जो बेटा, वो एक्स्ट्रा करिकुलर एक्टिविटीज में बहुत अच्छा है. मतलब रिंटारो से तो पूरा अपोजिट है वो. रिंटारो से तो पूरा अपोजिट है. तो ये दिखा गया है राइटो के बारे में, कैरेक्टर जो उसके ऑपोजिट है उसका कैरेक्टर के बारे में। Okay, these are bargain with that, Akibara began to file 5 or 6 more book next to crash register on the desk. Mr. Jack, all the trades, surprisingly ahead the reader. One of the Nakamura books, regular customer. You know this is a great shop. Thank you. Please take a time looking around and close it down sale. It was hard to tell from a renter of flat tone. It was serious. Akabara fell silent for a moment. It must be very awful for you. He began to cautiously losing your grandfather. Akiba simply returned his attention nearby bookshelf and pretending to ourselves. Seems yesterday in yesterday reading continuously. He was sudden. I felt him away. Rintaro sounded as if trying to polite and didn't be, and it didn't be friendship socialize in his voice. Akiba didn't seem particular bothered. He turned to look the young boy. He was still staring at bookshelf. But as soon as he passed away, you stop coming soon. That's not cool. Everyone worried about you. Who? Everyone. I can't think of a single person who should be worried about me. मतलब यहाँ पर सिंपल रायोटा बात कर रहा है, किससे बात कर रहा है, मतलब रायोटा यहाँ पर बात कर रहा है, यहाँ पर बात कर रेंटरो से। जो रेंटरो है वो बोलता है कि अच्छा राइटर बोलता है कि तुम आ क्यों नहीं ग्रुप, सॉरी तुम क्लास में क्यों नहीं आ रहे हो, क्योंकि जब से तुम्हारा ग्रैंडफादर पास हो गए तुम क्यों नहीं आ रहे हो, क्योंकि सब कोई तुम्हारा चिंता कर रहे हैं। अब यहाँ पर जो रेंटारो है वो शौक में आता है क्योंकि ही इज़ नॉट वेल सोशलाइज्ड पर्सन, क्योंकि आई थिंक ही मतलब जैसे मैंने बात किया था कि वो एक एवरेज गाय है, वो हम लोगों के साथ इतना एवरेज रहता है, तो वो है कि वो एवरेज रहता है, वो इज़ लाइक एवरेज बॉय। सो वी डोंट थिंक ऐसे एवरेज बॉय जो इतना कर सकता है उसके बारे में कोई फिक्र भी करे। ओ राइट, you don't have any friends, must be may life make simple, but seriously your grandpa must be worried sick about you. You probably got so anxious his ghost must be wandering around you. How he supposed to be rest in peace? Your grandpa is too old to get much grief. His words were harassed, but there was something gentle about Akiba spoke to them. यहाँ पर अकीबा मतलब वही राइटो अकीबा बोलते हैं, चलो अकीबा थोड़ा सा सिंपल है। यहाँ पर जो अकीबा है वो बोलता है कि और क्या बोलता है कि तुम स्कूल क्यों नहीं आओगे, तो क्योंकि अगर देखो अगर तुम स्कूल नहीं आओगे तुम्हारा दादाजी का काफ़ी दुख लेगा, क्योंकि तुम स्कूल नहीं आके उनका ही तुम क्या बोलते हो उनका जो इच्छा था उसी को तुम तोड़ रहे हो, तो उनको तो अच्छा नहीं लगेगा ना कि तुम उसको इच्छा तोड़ो, कि उनका तुम इच्छा तोड़ो उनको अच्छा नहीं लगेगा। ओके, इस उसका Akiba watched Rintaro, who remained him tight-lipped. Eventually, Akiba broke his silence. So I guess you are moving. You will be moving, I suppose. So Rintaro talking to eyes closed. I say every introvert guy, introvert. I can understand. मतलब मैं भी introvert हूँ। आई कैन अंडरस्टैंड द फीलिंग ऑफ वट रिंटर मतलब फिर मतलब कोई आपसे बात करे तो थोड़ा साइनेस लगता है कि हाँ मेरे साथ ये क्यों बात कर रहा है, ऐसा समझ आपके पास क्वेश्चन आता है कि मेरे साथ क्यों बात कर रहे इतना, ऐसा वो बात करते। तो रिंटारो यहाँ पर जो है थोड़ा सा ऑकवर्ड हो गया है एवरी इंटरवर्ट का ऑलवेज। ओके सो लेट्स ओके सो गैस I suppose so. Rentaro talking. I'm going to move in with my mom. Where she lives, I don't know. Before grandma, that I have never met her. The tone of Rentaro was never changed. It was possible to read her on him. Slide sung on his shoulder. Akiba dropped his gauge of books. He put on his counter. Is that why he's having closed door sale? Yes. Closing down sale, yes. Pity the bookstore collection is one of the kind these days rarely came across stuff like whole set of positive hardcover. I finally found this volume, Roman Rule and Soul and Child. I have looking for this. Grandpa would be happy to hear that. uh, रोमन लूल एट द सोल ऑफ एंचार्टेड। ओके, तो यहाँ पर जो क्या क्या यहाँ पर जो बात करते हैं कि ऐसे नॉर्मल सब बात कर रहा है, कि जाने कुछ कुछ शौक नहीं, मतलब वैसे नॉर्मल नॉर्मल बात करे कि अभी वो अपने आंट के पास जाने वाला है, जो वो पूछता है कि आंट कहाँ, तो मैं कहाँ रहती है, तो बोलते हैं मुझे पता नहीं पर जाऊँगा, ऐसा बोलता है वो। If only he was there to hear to you, it would be made mundane. You know, being your friend help me get my hands in beginning great books. Now you are being to Akiba bandlessly when he's expressing concern. Rintaro didn't know the right way to respond. Rintaro didn't even, so he started to stay started over at the wall where a huge pile of books. Even for a second had a handbooks. It was amazing that it would be stayed in business. The kind of books they used to stock most of far were current trend, many of which were were out of print. Akiba compiled about the books of were the only said kind of Rintaro. There was lot of truth of them. Where are you moving? Probably in a week. मतलब सिंपल यहाँ बात कर रहे हैं कि मतलब उनका बुक स्टोर में काफ़ी सारे बुक्स थे जो पसंद थे, जो उनको पसंद थे वो उनको पढ़ रहा था। ओके शिट। ओके, नाउ हियर आई एम वेरी आसे डू गैस बीच बीच में मोटिवेशन आ जाता है और क्या क्या करें। ओके, नाउ लेट्स बैक टू आवर स्टोरी। सो वेयर आर यू मूविंग, मतलब बात करें कि तुम तो कब जाने वाले, तो बोलता है कि हमें हफ्ता के भीतर जाने, इसी हफ्ता अगले हफ्ते के ऊपर जाने वाला। सिंपल गैस नेवी probably regulars are usual. It doesn't matter. I don't have any other choice anyway. I guess not. Akiba searched again and looking at a calendar that hung behind the counter. Next week, big Christmas. That rough. I don't really care about Christmas. Unlike you, I don't have any special plan. Thanks for remembering. Yeah, my schedules really keep busy. I'm packed. You don't know this year. I've really done try staying centers on my own. Was Akiba cracked up laughing, but Renta didn't. Oh really? He replied quietly. Akiba pulled his face and said, I guess if you are moving there will be no point of making effort to go school, but I don't know. I think you leave me a good note. There are people in your class who worry about you, you know. He glanced at a pile of paper and notebook counter. Akiba didn't bother. He started a Rintaro class's president have dropped him. His name was Sayo Uzumi. She lived nearby. She knows Rintaro since primary school. She was strong nonsense, non-nonsense time, not a particularly close, silent as Hikamori Rintaro. Hikamori Rintaro. He sons to be soft. She turned to be soft since Rintaro stank blackly. सी पॉइंटर यहाँ पर अभी एक गर्ल के बारे में बताया गया जिसका नाम है सायो यूजिकी मतलब लड़की का नाम है सायो। आई थिंक सायो है यूजिकी उसका नाम है। तो जो यूजिकी है वो उसका नाम है। तो सायो आयो आयो say and you look like you don't care about the world. Guess the Ikamo in life taking heading. Okay, Rentaro said Sayo forward turned Akiba instead. You should really be hanging around him. Basketball club where you are looking for you. She turned out to be stood right to his shop. She was completely unafraid of direct older boy. He was showing he cared. Rentaro admired her for it. You are the class rep in on Akiba. She was responsible. She didn't know bring your homework for yours herself. Through some reason didn't live as far away. Rintaro realized she is still having the paint of got out way from enough. And you can have those at 6,000 yen. He said, finally getting off his pin. Akiba raised an eyebrow, or kindly pressibly closing it down upstairs. 10% off. Can't do more than that library masterpiece. You are buying classical Nataseki, Akiba said laughing. pulled several notes from his wallet and picked off scrap and groups as the secured counter. He added and I added came school tomorrow as trademark and Nakomi's books were thrown in the silence beyond the door and sunset and gave the reddish glow corner hitter almost of the provoking beginning of the complaint. It was about to begin to go upstairs to mix up some dinner, even when his grandfather was alive. It had been Rentaro's job to was a big deal, and kept and Rentaro motionless, staring at soft door and sun in the sky. The heater gave him a cold and still Rentaro didn't moved. मतलब यहाँ पर एक सैड पार्ट दिखाया कि सोचो कि एक लाइब्रेरी है, लाइब्रेरी मतलब बुक स्टोर है, उस बुक स्टोर के दरवाजे में रिंटारो खड़ा है. रिंटारो इमेजिन अ बॉय हु इज लिटिल शॉर्ट, लिटिल शॉर्ट एंड रिंटारो शॉर्ट चश्मा पहना है उसने. ओके, तो वैसे ऐसा चश्मा पहना रिंटारो सिंपली जस्ट इमेजिन. नाउ नाउ यहाँ इंट्रोडक्शन खत्म हुआ, प्रोलॉग खत्म हुआ. अभी हम जाएंगे फर्स्ट चैप्टर इन प्रिजनर ऑफ बुक्स. ये कितना पेजेस का है थोड़ा देख लेते, मतलब गैस हमें पेजेस देखने का शौक है. आई थिंक कितना है, ओके 30 पेजेस का है गैस ये फर्स्ट चैप्टर. सो लेट्स गो. यार 30 पेजेस क्या है हमारे लिए, 30 पेजेस का मतलब 40 भी ख़त्म कर लेते हैं एक साथ. ओके तो ये तो हो गया नाटासुकी बुक्स वर टाइनी सॉफ्ट tucked away on street in his own part of town. He was rather pick a layout from the front of entrance of Natsuki books were tiny, soft, tucked out from the street in part of the time. It was ratherly particular layout, leading from front of the entrance through back of a single race. Each of the state rivalry tucked and straight, bookshelf reaching all the way. Leading from the front of the entrance through street. The back was a single long SL. Each side was a cell was lined up, drawing the streak. Bookshelf reaching all the way of the ceiling. Every shelf was crammed full of books. Retro still hung over it. The soft light reflecting upon the polished wooden floor. After a floor down there was simple wooden desk handling sales. Beside that, couple of wooden stools were none other furniture. A sliding of another. At the back of the shop, a cell ended. A simple wall of barefooted, but none of them entered the front door. Behind the daylight, you had this impression that the whole piece was much deeper than it was actually. Suddenly, by the wall of the door, it felt like entering endlessly, passing away and disappeared into the darkness beyond. The image of a Catholic reading a book under the lamp under a small desk was Rintaro memory is a line of the drama. मतलब सिंपल यहाँ पर वो जो बुक स्टोर का उसका डिस्क्रिप्शन के बारे में बोला कितना यहाँ पर वॉल है वहाँ पर वॉल है. आई थिंक वो डोंट मतलब आगे स्टोरी में काम दे सकते हैं, पर अभी के लिए कोई काम देगा. मुझे कुछ ज़्यादा फिक्र नहीं करना आगे के लिए. अगर इमेजिनेशन करना है बस कि एक बॉय है जिसने चश्मा पहना है, थोड़ा सा बड़ा है. किसको इमेजिन कर सकते हो, कौन है ऐसा जो हाई स्कूल में और उसको इमेजिन कर सकते हैं. मुझे कोई दिखता नहीं है, फिर भी विल ट्राई टू. मैं एनिमेटेड इमेजेस को बस इमेजिन कर रहा अपने दिमाग में. एनिमेटेड इमेजेस को इमेजिन कर रहा हूँ. ऐसे मैं बोल दूँ कि मुझे ना आई एम हैविंग द एडजस्ट ना, मतलब मुझे ये पढ़ते हुए पेज को मैं थोड़ा सा मतलब मुझे लग रहा था कि बुक को छोड़ देता हूँ, रिकॉर्ड को बंद कर देता हूँ, मैं फिर से जाओ मास्टर बेटिंग करना, मतलब वापस जाओ मास्टर बेट करने. पर मैं पढ़ता रहा इस बुक को और आए तो मुझे लगा बीच में अभी और आने वाले हैं. और मैं जो छोटा बाबू वो भी एक्सपैंड कर रहा है. तो मैं क्या बोल सकता हूँ कि आप भी तब जब अगर आपको कभी एडजस्ट जो आप काम कर रहे हो वो काम को करते हैं तो करते रहो और आपका एडजस्ट ख़त्म हो जाएगा. क्यों एडजस्ट के सामने झुक जाओगे, नहीं झुकोगे. मैं नहीं झुकूँगा. और ये बात भी इसलिए बोल रहा था कि मैं एडजस्ट को कम कर सकूँ. बस मैं अपना काम कर रहा हूँ. मैं सिर्फ पढ़ने वाला अभी मतलब पढ़ने वाला हूँ. आई एम गोइंग टू इमेजिन. ओके द इमेज ऑफ हिज ग्रैंडफादर क्वाइट रीडिंग इन द वॉक, मतलब उसको रेंटारो मतलब यहाँ पर आखिरी आखिरी 3 लाइन में बताया है कि रेंटारो को ये लग रहा है कि उसका कोई कोई दादाजी पढ़ रहे हैं, तो बुक सेल्फ के साथ पढ़ रहे हैं। simply simply with care, like oil painting by masterpiece artist. A book having tremendous power. That was his grandfather mantra. मतलब यहाँ पर उसके ग्रैंडफादर का जो मंत्र था वो था कि मतलब बुक के पास बहुत पावर होती है, मतलब गैस इतना पावर है कि दुनिया की सेवा का मैनेज कर सकते हम। That was his grandfather mantra. To tell the truth, the old man wasn't having much of the talker. But when he got up to the subject of book, he suddenly burst into life. His narrow eyes were just simple. His word felt out of his mouth and passionate. The timeless story is powerful enough to survive through ages. Read books like this. Then they are friend of to you. They are inspire you and support you. मतलब गैस यहाँ बोला गया कि मतलब बुक्स के बारे में यहाँ बहुत अच्छा बुक है, मतलब आई एम फर्स्ट रीडर नाउ, पढ़ रहा हूँ, बहुत समझ में आ रहा है कि लाइक अ टाइमलेस स्टोरीज, मतलब जो बुक्स है वो लाइक टाइमलेस स्टोरीज है, मतलब चलते रहते टाइम का कोई पता नहीं चलता, कारण टाइम का कोई फिक्र ही नहीं है हमें। आई थिंक ये बनने वाला है, क्योंकि टाइम का फिक्र करने नहीं वाला मैं। आई थिंक ये वीडियो कितना 2 घंटा से ऊपर बनने वाला, मुझे लगा 2 घंटा क्या, अभी कितना 30 मिनट हुआ, फिर भी अभी हम चैप्टर 1 में अटके पड़े हैं। आई थिंक we can try to complete this book as fast as possible, but in another way you could enjoy this। 2 घंटे से ऊपर बनने वाले, तो गैस रेडी हो जाओ 2 घंटे से। आई थिंक 2-3 घंटा तो लग ही जाएगा, आई थिंक इफ आई स्टे कंसिस्टेंट देन। To tell the truth, the old man wasn't much talker, but when he got to the subject of books, he would be. Rentaro started around his tiny bookshelf with all his work. It was self none of them current bestseller, non-popular manga or magazine this day didn't even sell. That's where regular customer expressed concern about survival of Matsuka bookshelf, but his frail bookshelf has been no brief thank you. The complete work of Nagazuki, thumb of teacher and poetry remained display by the front door. The space that his grandfather has created a perfect way for the boy who turns something to ridiculous. The Rentaro, who had never been really fitted in at school, got into habit of coming immersing in his book, virtually reading anything he would find himself. In other words, there was Rentaro space. There was shelter of outside world. But now, in a few days, he would be forced to leave Natsuki books forever. And for this is messed up, he whispered. At that moment, he was brought back to reality. A cheerful ring of old-fashioned bell that hang in front of door. Normally, it would mean customer had came, but the door had closed. Sign of how outside the sun was set beyond the glass door was nothing. Darkness. It felt as if a pillar has just slept somewhere in great span of time and slipped away. Deciding the bell was striking, imagining Renter turned down, gazed towards the ghost, Tammy and kind of gloomy. See, the boy started him, but when he turned cheesy at the second doorway, there was nobody. You are quite collective here. These books are fading away. This dignity, old places, and our realizes the voice was coming from deeper inside the shop. He span around. He see nobody except a tabby cat. It looked like an average ginger tabby. What a large plump cat was orange on orange. Engine stripped, making running from overhead to hover on overhead. Over stomach, her legs were pure white against it, against it. Its eyes were gleaming the jade. He fixed directly to the Rentaro. Rentaro was the cat as his flex is long. Gravy, you are the cat. You got problem with it? Asked the god. There was no mistaking. The cat had just spoken. and although he was spoken, Rentaro managed to scrape together the ones of the crummy set his eyes tightly and counted three out to three. Then he opened a fury cat, bristly tail, green eyes, neat and triangular, and there was absolutely no doubt it was a cat. The tabby whistled each had a key. There something was wrong. He asked a creature who didn't memorize words. No, I Rentaro scuffled around the singing the thing to say. Skin that texture my eyesight isn't a good all. I have seen the and there was talking of sitting in front of me splintered the cat who had not in the continuous the name tiger the name is tiger the tabby. There was nothing more than Jerry then a cat suddenly introducing itself to you, but Rentaro somehow managed to recuperate. I am Rentaro Nata Sugi. I know you are the proprietor of Natakiri, but new proprietor. Rentaro, Rentaro was confused. That was the first ever he had of I am sorry, I'm just a schoolboy. Up and Hikakomi, he explained. My grandfather knew all the books about the books. He don't he knew around me. No problem, announced Devi. But my business is with you. With a new propriety discussed by Grantaro, slightly narrowed eyes. I need your help. My help. Your help with these books are imprisoned books. These are the parrot stop repeating everything, say like a half stack. Are you a parrot? तो अभी तक मैंने पढ़ा अभी उसका मतलब ये है कि हाँ भाई, एक कैट आता है जो टेबी कैट है, तो उसका नाम टाइगर है। उसका नाम टाइगर है। बोलते हैं कि मैं तुम्हें हेल्प चाहिए रेंटारो। रेंटारो बोलते हैं भाई सब पहले पहले तो ये कैसे बोल कैसे रहा, पहले मुझे कोई बोलो, ये पहले बोल कैसे रहे, पहले मुझे वो पहले बोलो। पहले वो बोलने में शौक था, फिर बहुत सारी चीज़ों का शौक था। Help with this are the book were imprisoned. Are you the parrot? Stop repeating everything. Okay guys, तो आगे बढ़ते हैं। हेल्प विथ देयर वॉज अ बुक डेट वॉज बिन इम्प्रिजन बुक्स, मतलब यहाँ पर वही हमारा मेन कैरेक्टर बात करता है कि हाँ, मतलब टाइगर के साथ बात करता है कि मतलब बात कर रहा है, गैस क्या इतना होना, हमें बात कर रहा है बस। तो आर योर पैरट स्टॉप रिपीटिंग एवरीथिंग, से लाइक आई हैव बिहेव विथ द वर्ड लैंडेड विथ लाइक a slap across Rintaro's face. The cat, however, paid no attention to his reaction. I needed to rescue those books. The jade eyes flashed, and this helped me. एंड हेल्प्ड मी। तो ये मतलब बात कर रहा है कि मुझे वो कैट है इसके ऊपर बिल्कुल ध्यान नहीं दे रहा कि तू जो भी कर, मुझे कुछ फ़र्क नहीं पड़ता, तू जो भी कर। सिंपली यहाँ पर मतलब देख रहे हैं कि अब वो कैट को बस अपना फिक्र है, वो उसको फिक्र नहीं करता कि तू जो करना है तू कर, तू जो करना है तू कर, पर मैं तो अपना काम करूँगा। ओके ना, हम आगे देखते हैं। I need to rescue those books. And the jade eyes flashed, and have to rescue help. Rentaro sat for a moment's silence, watching the ginger tabby cat. Then he slowly lifted his right arm and began to flame his glasses. It was his habit. However, he was thinking, I must really try to be thought. Rintaro closed his eyes, his hand still on his glasses frame. His grandpa that and stress. Rintaro he leapt at his executed. He must be divided or to his sleep without realizing. None of he was dreaming. Convinced by his own logic, he opened his his eyes again, but he was still tabby cat sitting calmly cat in front of him. Okay, now I have a problem. Come on to think. I'm sitting at those silver for days now. I really fallen behind on my reading. Now where do I leave my copy of Candidate? I started all sort of random thoughts began to pop into my hand. Are you listening, Mr. Porfitter? The tabby cat sharp tone fished the bubble a Renaissance thought. Look, kid, I say it one time again. I need your help to save those books. You say you need me, but Rintaro was struggling to find the right word. I'm useless. I'm useless, like I have said. I just high school Hikakaru, he said unless to sit for an for some reason we could not make himself live. He is talking to a tabby card, no problem. I already know you are miserable, good for nothing shut in. The card sensed, but I still have a favor to ask you. If you already knew that, then why are you asking for me help? I must be the most billion people who would do better. I must be a million people who would be better than me. Yeah, okay. Goes without saying. And I have lost my grandfather. I am feeling pretty depressed for you. I get that. So then why? I don't like books. Tabby cat can't voice burst out in angry protest. It is my gentle now, but also filtered determination. And Taro didn't really understand what cat was talking about, but strong precision. The power of speeches seems to rob all the listener. Jade eyes started straight into the Renatoro. Yes, of course I like books, and that's why I can't. That's why then what's stopping you? Everything about Tabby Card was bold and confident, so different from Renatoro himself. Rintaro, and the book began to fiddle in the class's frame again. Depressed, trying to find work to go out. There was explanation to made any sense. The important stuff is always difficult to understand, Mr. Peter, said the cat, and as if reading a sorrow thoughts. Most people don't get an obvious truth that they just quote about the everyday life. Yet it is only the heart that one can see one can see. आगे बढ़ते हैं. मतलब stuff is difficult. As if reading has thought. Most people don't get everything open story. They just go their everyday lives, and it is only the heart. Baby, monkey shoot. ओके, हम फिर से आगे बढ़ते हैं. सो नाउ मतलब सिंपली टॉकिंग कर रहा है, मतलब उसके साथ बात कर रहा है. ये फालतू कुत्ता बात कर रहा है. Important things are always well. Renaissance eyes winded. I never expected to hear a cat quoting the Little Prince. मतलब Little Prince, the Little Prince. No, not into Saint Economy. He is one of my favorite author. Renaissance replied. But I think Night Flight best. Night Flight. I could not put Southern Mail down. Splendid. And Splendid, said the tabby with a grin. The cat conversation brought a thought nostalgic over the boy. Somehow it reminded him of his grandfather. Expert grandpa had never been this talkative. So you will help me, Rina. So you will help me, Rina. Stanger. I am allowed to refuse. I am allowed to refuse. You are, replied. And replied to you are. They added a grimly, but I am bitterly disappointed if you do. If you इफ यू नैसो ग्लिम्स, मतलब अब यहाँ पर देखो, यहाँ पर रिन रिन तारो को एक रिन तारो को एक चांस मिला है कि वो क्या बोलते हैं, कैट को हेल्प करेगा कि नहीं करेगा। वो अगर नहीं करेगा तब भी चलेगा, पर यहाँ पर जो कैट है वो दुखी हो जाएगा। मतलब वो चाहता नहीं वो दुखी हो वो चाहता नहीं है। फिर भी क्या बोलूँ मैं उसको, हाँ फिर भी वो चाहता है कि हाँ मैं उसका हेल्प करूँ वैसे, इसीलिए तो गैस इसीलिए। So I will okay. Yeah, so glance sleepily. So the cat turned out of nowhere, asked to help. Then say, I'm going to be bitterly disappointed if you don't agree. I wasn't very resemble yet. Yet there is something appearing about the cat plant smoke style. Probably was a lot of his like a grandpa after all. So what do you need to do? Follow me. Where to? Come on, the cat turned around, headed not in the direction of front door, but towards the shadow as at the far end of the shop. Rather confused, Rintaro followed, but he was barely taking more than few steps before he was curious, feeling vertigo. Come Nasogi books was long and narrow. He was he expected to run into the walls, the back, other floor few steps, but today there was no dead end. The SL line towering walls, the bookcase were keep going. The old-fashioned lamp overhead seems to repeat infinitely as they were in a notice. Rintaro noticed that the shelves were filled books that we never seen, and that books we have never seen ago. Many were different from usual bond of books they found left is the old second-hand books move to beautiful leather bound tones embroidered with gold passageway had gallery gumness. This eeriness began to ramble, including the cat look over its shoulder at him. Are you frightened, Mr. Porfitter? Porfitter, if you are going to bail on me, I will. And there and then now, no, knows your chance. I was just wondering when the shop got this all books. मतलब यहाँ पर क्या बोलता है वो जो कैट है वो, मतलब उस कैट के साथ वो जा रहा है, मतलब हमारे रिंतारो की क्या नाम है पता नहीं, ठीक से मतलब प्रोनाउंस कर नहीं पा रहा हूँ मैं, थोड़ा सा क्या करें, प्रोनाउंस करने की गलती हमारा होता है। रिंतारो जो है वो क्या बोलता है, थोड़ा सा शौक में है कि ये क्या स्कैम है। आई वॉज वंडरिंग व्हेन द शॉप मतलब वो शौक में है कि देखो, मतलब वो जैसे ही वो बुक सेल्फ तरफ जा रहा था, जैसे ही बुक सेल्फ तरफ जा रहा था, तब उसने देखा कि इतने सारे बुक सब हैं, इतने सारे बुक सब हैं। तो वो शौक में रहेगा कि इतने सारे बुक्स हैं, मतलब इतने सारे, वो भी पुराने तरीके बुक्स, पुराने जो किसी का लेदर में ढपा हुआ है, कुछ का तो गोल्ड प्लेटिंग भी था यहाँ पे, जैसे बोला गया किसी के साथ गोल्ड प्लेटिंग भी था। तो बड़ा शौक में था कि ये सब कब आ गया। आई वॉज जस्ट वंडरिंग द शॉप got all these new books. Nato replied, peeping into the distance when looking down to the well. This with all new titles. Read. I don't think I'm ready to live here. Kawano life just yet. Maybe I asked my aunt if we delay the move. Your sense of humor leaves something to be desired, but your heart is in the right place. The world threw all kind of obstacle at us. We are forced to endure so much that is obstruct. The best weapon for fighting all pains and trouble in the world isn't logic or violence. It is human. मतलब ये कोड मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा। ये कोड मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा, पर सी मतलब द बेस्ट जो बेस्ट कोड बोलूँगा इसका, मतलब बहुत सारे कोड है, पर बेस्ट वे टू योर सेंस एंड ह्यूमर इज गुड। आवर बेस्ट वेपन फॉर लाइटनिंग इज ह्यूमर। ओ बात जोड़ गई हो। और मतलब पीक कोड में चला कि हमें ना मतलब कुछ कुछ ऐसा पेन सब होते हैं, कुछ कुछ ऐसा जो हमें जो पेन सब होते हैं वो सब हमें and वैसा से कैट सेव्ड द बुक्स। कुछ कुछ ऐसे कोट होते हैं जो हमें कुछ लाइव लाइव को दिखाना सिखा देते हैं, कुछ उसका लाइव को देखना सिखा देते हैं हमें। तो ये मुझे कोड अच्छा लगा और मैं कोड को सर हाईलाइट करना चाहता हूँ कि आवर बेस्ट वेपन फॉर फाइटिंग इज ऑल पेन्स एंड ट्रबल इज वर्ल्ड इज इन लॉजिक एंड वायलेंस। मतलब हम किसी मतलब ऐसे बहुत सारे जो प्रॉब्लम है उसको हम क्या बोलते हैं, उसको हम लॉजिक से या वायलेंस से नहीं कर सकते। कुछ कुछ प्रॉब्लम है जो हमें ह्यूमर से करना पड़ेगा, लाइक का चाइल्डहुड ट्रॉमा हो गया, मतलब बहुत सारा कुछ ऐसा होते हैं। Having dispensed a nugget of the wisdom in the style some ancient philosopher a tabby cat fed off came again to let's go Mr. Proddivator. Let's go Mr. Proddivator. Rentaro followed obediently. Soon the bookshelves on each of the sides were stocked so an astronomical and thick volume were just totally unfamiliar to him as the boy and the cat made their way to forward. The passage became infused with faint bluish glow. They gradually brightened up until eventually the whole space was filled with blinding white light. He was and he was bright sunlight. He was a bright sunlight, and trees were sweeping gently. The white light faded, and the Rentaro found himself surrounded with pleasant scenery. All the fits now मतलब अभी यहाँ पे bright light आता है, मतलब कहीं जाते हैं कहीं पर यहाँ पर। He was bright light and Sam and three says gently. The white white light faded. The Rentaro found himself surrounded with pleasant scenery. At the feet of the plankstone gleamed brightly in sunlight. Over the branch over the miniature silk tray swapped over the grating, and those beyond. Rentaro stripped off his trees and tries to make sure a gate a short distance away. At top of the flight of stone was a magnificent Hivaru gateway. Gateway was made of traditional decorative tile. Great wooden door was polished as the fine gloss, but there was overall feeling something vigorously oppressive. Rentaro looked left and right in the both direction of perfectly even continued as far eyes could see. Next immense gate and smaller down the gate nameplace appeared into the blank. Regular neat flagstone stretching away into distance was topless, not much fallen unmarried to the surface, particularly of light. They filtered through the space between the roofs and tailor spark away like dancing water droplet. There was not a soul inside. We are here, said the cat. This is our destination. Where the books are. This is where are the books? They're in present behind there. Okay. And there Arintaro looked another magnificent gate. मतलब अभी हम एक जगह नया जगह आ गए जहाँ रिंतारो एक काफ़ी ब्यूटीफुल सीनरी में आ गया है। अभी वो कैसे जाएंगे आगे, कैसे जाएंगे देखेंगे उसको हम आगे। चल देखते हैं। Rintaro took another look and magnificent gate and a Minamo street above. It was a giant. It was okay. It was a giant bleachers and covered with cotton basins. That was strange. It was December, which made him very unusual, mimosa indeed. But then again, wow, from the outermost everything he had been seen today. Again, from the outermost everything he has seen again. Defied common sense. At this point, seen hardly taking issue, hardly power. That was an imprisonment. The gate was alone the size of our bookshelf. Don't worry, it is a bulb. Behind one impressive gate lives sorry excuse for a man. From the point of the view sight from the point of the view high school student who lives in a sorry excuse for a house. I don't want to say going to make the most of your freedom to stand around complaining, said the cat. If you don't manage and rescue this book, you will be stuck in the labyrinth forever. मतलब यहाँ पे लेबरिंथ के बारे में बात करें कि यहाँ पे जो जगह का नाम है वो है लेबरिंथ. A labyrinth forever. Rhinasoro was playing and a labyrinth. And the labyrinth and the dinosaur was pregnant. Have you seen to have more have you seen to have sorry I have been you seem to have left a part out. You obviously I have told you a bit before you whenever you will agree to come. Sometimes it is ignorance in bliss, sometimes ignorance. This is a dirty trick. This is a dirty trick. Is it through sitting there with your miserable face? It was pretty clear you have nothing too much to lose. The cat what's up pretty pure venom. So मतलब यहाँ पे जो कैट हो मतलब कुछ बात बोल दे कि अगर तुम इसमें बच नहीं पाए तो तुम हमेशा के लिए यहाँ रह जाओगे. अब यहाँ पर जो हमारा रिंतारू है वो फंस गया, मतलब फंस गया उसके हिसाब से फंस गया है. तो उसका आगे बहुत मजा आने वाला है गैस. And sitting at their miserable face and miserable face was pretty clear and pretty clear. Nothing to lose. The cat was pure venom. So that is what that they mean to be brutally honest. Rindaro thought. He was started to grass a blue sky. He fortunately response. I don't get a kick of hurting dumb animals. I don't get kick out to dump, but he paused and adjusted his glasses right now. I got overwhelming desire to grab you. You are the scrub to neck to shake you. The spell did. That's the spirit. The spell did. That's the spirit. The upper course says the clan begin to line a step to the gate and the metro scampered after it. Up. Just wondering what if happen he doesn't get back. We will probably be doomed to walk the length of all entity. Then again, I will never go stuck before, so I don't really know. But that not scooter dinosaur stop on the top step right before the run right before the massive wooden door. So what exactly do I need to do? Just take to Lord of Manor, and then I managed to say to him, well, then where are you done? That's it. Nasa looked surprised, but the cat was finished. I got more assignment for you. I announced the proper milestone. Would you mind posting the doorbell? Pressing the doorbell, Nasaro did as requested. आउट फ्रॉम अ स्मॉल डोज. मतलब यहाँ पर जो है वो रैट तो कैट जो है उसको बोलता है कि तुम ये मेरा तो बहुत सारा काम है पर तुम एक काम करो, तुम वो बेल को दबा दो. तो रिंतारू भी वैसे ही करता है. वन फ्रॉम द स्मॉल डोर and the small door by the gate came a attractive woman dressed like a small indigo kingdom from her restrained demeanor. He would be guessed she was already but exact age as hard to judge. There was no air in the warmth about her, and she had dead eyes from her red or rainbow hairpin skin begin to ching on for claim of he would easily have been mistaken of executing Japanese doll. Rintaro couldn't bring anything to speak. May I help you? She said. A name monotone voice. The cat took over his frustrated over the. We would like to meet your husband. The woman tried to lifespan The Rintaro felt nervous and chill through him. Both of the cat and woman seems to completely unfazed. The husband is a busy man, unexpected visitor. The cat cut out of her off. This is the matter great importance and the time sensitivities. Please help. Please let me know where you are. Why we know? Let me know where we are. Every day my husband receives a visit from people who claims to have urgent important businesses with him, but he was far too busy in the TV and radio appearance. It is not a kind schedule for the pyramid to announce the guesses and the please come talk back another day. मतलब यहाँ पर बोलते हैं कि तुम दूसरे जाना है यहाँ पर here we are discuss मतलब यहाँ पर एक औरत का डिस्क्रिप्शन दिया गया जिसमें उस औरत के डिस्क्रिप्शन में बोला गया कि वो थोड़ा सा बूढ़ी है इसकी मीन्स शी इज़ लाइक अ ओल्ड वुमेन ओल्ड टाइप ऑफ वुमेन हु इज़ हियर हो इस हियर मतलब और लोग बोलते हैं कि हमें आपके पति से मिलना है तो बोलते हैं कि नहीं तुम्हारे पति से नहीं मिल सकते वो बहुत सारे काम करते हैं वो कर बोलते हैं we don't have a time for that and the determination of the TV was stopped woman in her text. The cat seized his movement where we are here to discussion book matters. This young man, there is a virtual information for your husband. I'm sure he will be able to find me time for us. The cat appeared in a front of Kimalab woman. He stood while apparently considering its worth. This was finally crazily. Wait there here. She was greatly disappointed back through Drew Rhinocero and Rhinocero started the Sheridan cat who was a virtual information. Let no worry about the detail uh, let no worry for detail for now. As I say you we are seeing the buffer of tactics to stand of him buffering the bluffer. If you like I would work on it. If you're going once inside. That's so Renato resisted a moment rescuing its pet. The moment reappeared he was partly Sabio and she was born. The woman she borrowed to the boy and cat before addressing them in some monotone. This way, please. On the other side, a great goat, a magnificent, magnificent mansion, the likes of which Rasoro had never seen. They walked into the passed through the electric door and came across Sue. The genital forces. They step out to the corridor and polished wooden doors. They felt into a guava of interest surrounded because the turn led into kind of connecting bridge that was become over toward inches of building. Building from the connecting bridge, he would get extensive from the connecting bridge, Japanese style garden, birds chip into the trees, nearly pointed once over full power. I was speaking irregularly, stop cutting, save your breath. Inasuro and the cat whispered fiercely to each other, but the woman leading didn't say anything to a single word. As they walked the secretly began to change. The scenery, what had happened, and the kept the scenery, what find in traditional Japan residence under Bridget transformation. First wooden. and they walked. Scenery begin what appeared traditional Japanese and residence underwent with a great transformation. First woman, first woman. Okay, I don't know. I don't know about you, but I am headache. Said the same here. It was the first time the cat has agreed with him. It is like, it is like. It is like it is like a thew together whole stop all over in one day. As a continued, it looks like full and threw together. It looks like and but fact it is empty. The car is was response. Every gen it is not philosophy behind it. It is not a taste, not matters and not matters. Wonderful looks at it. आगे बढ़ते हैं outside when you take off the leaf inside there nothing but a jumble of workage junk. It was a kind of ignorance. I think that's going too far, said Rintaro. I'm just telling you, it's like it, and anyway, it's really common. You see it everywhere, every day. The mansion said the woman. मतलब यहाँ सिंपली चल रहा है इनका बातचीत वो बूढ़ी वुमन और रैन रैंटी रिंतिरो रैन रिंतारो. This mansion would be Rintaro. Woman gently interrupting the cat was and then decided to reflect by his husband rich and very wealth experience and excellent judgment. I imagine it may be beyond your understanding. For a split second Rentaro thought this is one kind of joke. The woman was talking ahead and so he couldn't see her face, but then he realized she sounded far from assumed. There was a strange tension in the air. Advance and farther in the residence corridors and staircase and connection of when the rest the distance they were covering was extraordinary. They were and they all were passing through the Japanese ink painting shutters of Venice and katana sword. There seems to be rhyming no reason behind argument of this ornament direction they were moving seems to change without warning, so they were absolutely no idea where the where they were in the midst. मतलब जा रहे ये लोग आराम से. They were going here and there, fucking here and there. Okay. The direction they were moving seems to no change without warning. They were absolutely no idea where the fuck they were going. Midset of the chaos from the time they left, the woman would turn a call over the shoulder. All are you all right, Rentaro and his Debbie friend, Miss dear cat. Even had no choice but to nod and follow. Even if we were told to leave now, I will not sure that I would able to me back. Whispered Rentaro. Don't worry, my perfect dear, said the glancing. I have no idea how to get out of here either. And the last they came, and the long journey they walked down the final red carpet corridor, the far they and check and presume sliding. The presumes letting woman stop in front of it. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your patience. Placing her hand lightly on the door, she slightly opened and her eyes glowed wide, and he took a continent beyond. It was a massive hall room of ceiling all painted white. The whiteness made it impossible gauge, impossible. Terraform. The hall was filled of neat and white painted display case. Each of these classes founted case with taller just have around 20 rows, all perfectly aligned, but even though the start of each row was visible, they stretched farther back than the eyes would see. However, what amazed Rentaro more than anything was in the size of a number. These display cases of was their contest in every single case was filled with the books. Every shelf was stuffed full. Couldn't tell exactly how many giant bookcase were there. मतलब यहाँ bookcase सब बहुत सारे bookcase हैं यहाँ पे. Total number of books were stored there, but one thing he knew, the figure was mind-blowing. Whoa! He began to walk down the row of case. It was breathtaking. There was a huge variety of books of different literature, philosophy, poetry, collection of letters, diary, every genre you would imagine. The quality number was overwhelming, and yet single book appeared as a brand new brand new. There was not a mark and even single of them. They were beautiful. I have seen such an amazing collection, said Rintaro. Rintaro मतलब यहाँ पर simply is now amazed. Is now amazed. सारे दिल बना है वो. The voice resounded from somewhere deep among the and display case. Rentaro followed the source of the voice through the room from the bookcase to bookcase. Finally came across to a tall man sitting in a white chair. He wrote us set he wore a suit exactly the same bright white and polished floor. He sat on the cross leg in a small silver chair. His eyes were fixed on a thick book open on his lap. The case on far side of this chair has no books in it. In other words, there had no further point of collection deep inside the storeroom. Welcome to my study. The woman glanced at Rentaro. He had a gentle smile, but key gaze revealing a man has spoke sticky. Rentaro recalled that the woman had mentioned appearance of television and radio. The man looked like someone who would you see on TV. He looks delicate. Muttered Rentaro to the cat. Are you can easily meditate, stay strong. And Rentaro, are you one of here decisions book matters? Well, um, if you will excuse me, I will be busy. I don't have the time to sit around idly chatting. Some boy, particularly one who burns and announced even the introduce himself. Just dear, oh sorry, my name is Rintaro Natasuki. Readjusting his posture, Rentaro gave a deep breath. Please excuse me us for interrupting. I see, replied. Now, what is the vital information you have for me? If you do with the book, then I suppose I will hear. मतलब यहाँ पर वो टॉलमेंट का बात करते हैं. यहाँ पर वो जाते हैं एक टॉलमेंट के पास और उसके साथ बात करते रहते हैं. एक टॉलमेंट वो काफ़ी बड़ा है. whatever होंगे उसमें क्या है. The Rentaro had been put on the spot, and he had nothing to say. The virtual information had been even exited. Look desperate at the cat where you came to free your books. The cat white whispered, twitched and spoke. The man narrowed further. He looked down at the cat. There was something matching in his look. I really don't have a minute to spare. I have my TV and radio appearance to prepare for. So many lecture and articles to read. I have managed to switch some time in cast of eyes these books. I have my collection came over the world. I don't have the time to idle for traveling and it. She sadly drinks my making the show looking. I have already wasted two precious minutes listening you. If you have finished, I would leave now. but the cat wasn't going to give him up easily. We are not talking done. I have told you. I have already told you to leave. The man glanced at I was only 65 of my 100 books. Go to get out. 100 book rental could not help her. You read 100 book a year, not a year. The man replied, the next page in the book a month. Huh? Huh? He said, negate, and then why I am so busy, and that is why I am so busy. I welcome you, thinking you were bringing me news that you may benefit him, but clearly I was mistaken. If you continues to waste my time, I will be broken. Of course, once of you leave this room, I have no idea whether the two of you will be never be able to find me where you want again. But there is one concern of mine. Mm, his tone was icy, and his adopt silence followed and rustled pages. Now here he says that मीन्स आई रीड 100 बुक्स मतलब मैं 100 बुक पढ़ता हूँ एक महीने में. मीन्स इट्स अमेजिंग. हाउ मेनी डेज आर देयर? 30 days. 30 days मीन्स एवरी डे आई थिंक 3 books he read. Every day 3 books, then 3 into 30, 90. What the fuck, man? 3 into 30, 4 into 12. And some days he read 4 books, some days he 2 books. Means how much, man? It would be fully amazing, man. 100 books a fucking month. It would be. We can't even read 1 book a month, and he's reading 100 books. It's inspiration for us to make self-destruction journey. And to do self-destruction, see, completely unpredictable. It was he was like completely forgotten his vegetable existence. There was nothing more than he said. Rentaro was looking around helplessly when he gazed fell on a display case. The man collection really varied, preferred simply random. His lips were filled not only with a regular book, not but also magazine and maps, dictionary. Nothing was arranged in a sequence relating to particular skills. Natsuki books also have a remarkable collection, but Rentaro grandpa had always been some kind of system of self-arrangement in contract. Despite of an parents' man collection was in fact total chaos. Rentaro took breath. And have you read all? And Nitsuki, he was looking at the book right behind the man. All the others are including the famous thus spoke Zarathustra around the collection of his letter. He lined off the glass. I like the Netsuki, he added. There are the people all over the world who claims to like nature. Netsuki, replied the man without lifting his head from his book. However, there were few people who says that after having reading all his work, they will see even odd quotation. Some wondered version they tried necessarily to far size so fashioned or some fashion overboard. Are you one of those two? The response scholars who at bottom do little they nowadays have thumb book ultimately lose entirely the capacity to think themselves, and why they don't they don't think. The man slowly lifted his face from his book. National release state talker continued Rentaro. Then that is why I like him without moving a muscle. Some man said, I obviously read the trimmed conversation of his partner. His eyes were filled of contentment, but somewhere deep inside was a faint glimmer of his intent. Finally, he closed his books. All right, I may be able to spare you some little of my time. मतलब यहाँ पर भी उसको जो इंटरेस्ट वो टॉल है कि इसका इंटरेस्ट आ गया उसके ऊपर अभी इंटरेस्ट आ गया. हम ही इज इंटरेस्टिंग गाय. क्या इंटरेस्ट आया देखते हैं आगे. ऑल राइट, आई मे एबल टू स्पेयर यू सम लिटिल ऑफ द टाइम. And the glacial atmosphere trimmed a little. The cat looked at Rentaro, good measure to surprise, but Rentaro had no time right now to her Philly friend under the pressure. The man's expression had fired instant. He raised his bar. We came here because we heard you have lot of book imprisoned. You shouldn't believe everyone you hear. See for yourself. I just have one copy of piece of each book that I have read. I'm taking care of them. Each book that you read, all the book once you've already read. Naturally, he gestures naturally from the first bookcase. The door were all over. I am sitting here 57,000 600 and 57,600 57 sorry 57,000 57,600 6,000 had made me man I am today. That's my dear companion. That's why I'm completely bewildered by you two. I'm bewildered by you coming here with false assuration. He nonchalantly uncrossed his long legs and stalked and by boy look, and Taro was hit of sitting wave of self in importance of and pride so strong it would be knock his on his foot. Nevertheless, he took his ground and Taro generously replied, but why you're keeping your book like that? The glass case already shut their handle puckered together, and Taro still didn't understand exact meaning of catwalk, the book that have been in prison. Why did he know that there is no display book, the case of pitiful suffering? With it's unnatural. Enter said, the books are important to me. I love books. What neutral guarding your treasure because you are treating them like museum pieces, putting a great padlock on them like they have books, but you can't even get them. Get to them. Why should I? Why I want to get to do that? I have already read them. Now Rentaro was now even more confused than the man. You are finished after reading once. You don't even read it. Read it them? Are you idiot? Are you idiot? The words are more in the big hall. The other man of white suits is out of a restaurant. Gently touched the glass and near his display. Haven't you listening to anything I have said? I'm too busy reading book. I have already difficult enough to reach the monthly quota. I have I don't spare times in rereading things. You don't read things taken back? Of course not. My man says jealous as talk. I am going to have a chalk and stupidity check. Otherwise, you intelligently has last minute going. So throwing to despair. The world is full of books. You agree? It's impossible to count the number of books that have been still being written to first time read over again. Well, it is inconceivable. The world anchored wholly. The Rentaro began to feel lightheaded and coarsely. The world is full of readers. The man went, but a person of standing required for the read more than the books than the average reader. Huh? The world is full of readers. The man went, but a man of standing requires read for more books than than the average reader. Someone who reads 20,000 books is much more valuable. 20,000 books. अक्षित क्या पकड़ा है? Someone who reads 20,000 books or 10,000. So would I read the same book and require the same fellows of books? I don't read. I don't need to read one out of question or degree waste time. Sometimes it gleamed the narrowed eyes. It was gleam. Some came of the utter self-confidence that it began to bother, and at the lost for the word, Rentaro held his tongue and recked. What a man was saying was not completely unreasonable. Building a block of his argument, however, destroyed the mishap and to me. Had been arranged the great wall unbroken. He built his case because the man was proud, so sure himself. He was solid and unskippable. The book have tremendous power there, that was his grandfather pet face. And now the man in front of Rentaro was claiming the book, claiming him the man who was today. It sounded Rentaro as if the two men were saying the same thing, and yet Rentaro reached and began his fiddle, his frame, his glasses. And there were something there was something different about being Rentaro grandfather. He would win taken time respond boss question calmly, kindly. I am extremely busy. The man repeated, and with that I turned off my chair to face upon from the visitor towards the bookshelf. He opened a book again. He raised his point of distance. Please leave. Rentaro didn't move. The cat who appeared to deep in the thought silence become be possessive man and the possessive man. What the fuck? And went back to turning the pages in his book. The dry drizzling sound fell off recognizable. Or suddenly there was a difference between a sibling sound with the white fusion door. I said the slide to open. There was no one on the other side. No sign of woman who had brought them. All were sheer deep and insistent darkness. Sentaro suddenly think about it, Mr. Potter. There were no one to rebel because the truth what he eyes truth right the laboratory run the power up to emerald. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He comforted his truth. Maybe as long as personal conviction is involved, I wouldn't collapse easily. But not everything he says is true. And the attack took a major place from it was his weak spot. It was his weak spot. There was he is very skilled at spotting heaps of words. But he can't all be true. There got to be lie in there somewhere. A lie, something in the atmosphere changed. Bentaro turned to look at the door beyond the darkness of the wind began to blow, or rather they would be wind blow through the hall towards the darkness, easing the Rentaro and the cat towards the furniture. The wind was steadily increasing its destination, mysterious rock vortex and empathy to outside the children Rentaro's spine. He turned out to see the man and Rand was ready, engaged in his book. But if nothing happens, it would leak if he nearly reached everything like volume. He turned his somewhere in the chaos of his valve and and suffered suffered into snow. We were never we handed all these books were really in prison. All these books are really in prison. लॉकअप were never handled. Yes, मतलब हम पढ़ के छोड़ देते हैं. मतलब यहाँ पर I know what he wants to really say is that Mr. Porfitter. The wind had become too howl now that Rentaro would not hear. The cat was trying to tell him something, but Rentaro's attention was still focused. Still focused, and his tune to the man. Something not right. He was neat or mustard and failed. Mutter his man was shoulder wist in his response. I am sure you are lying. The time Rentaro's voice was louder. The man turned to glower at him, but Rentaro refused to buckle under the force of his glare. You are lying to us. You say that you love books, but that's not true. What's the thing you just said? A man replies too quickly. You are just a kid before you inquired what superior. You will better be offensive. I saw a cat. You get the hell out of here. Hell out of here. Fuck you, man. Fuck you. I don't love you don't love books at all. Repeated, standing upstairs and looking a man directly in his eyes, and his opponent noticeable flinched. on what evidence. Just look around Rentaro was, and just look around a powerful man the expected. But it wasn't only the face in his book, but it was that he knew exactly what to say. I agree that there is amazing number of books here. I am sure there would be and it is rare to find such a variety of places and even the precious old books that would be difficult to find these days. But all the अरे पढ़ने दो ना रे अरे पढ़ने दो मैं दूसरा आइटम but all the take for example 10 volumes edition of 10 volume edition of Dan D. Akatian Ramaiskia. Rentaro pointed a row of beautiful books of himself in his lap. The title stood boldly gold letting against the white background. Alexandre Dumas' greatest work translated in Japanese, even display case. It's not every day to get a chance to see this work together like this. All 10 books looking if they will never be opened in perfect condition. Look at the size of his volume. No matter how careful you read them, you must surely end up with a mark of two perfect even the spin, and yet look as if they would be him first delivered in the brand new look book as a treasure to me. I read each book with utmost care and place it display, and when I finish it, it is a part of my daily routine to give me the great pleasure. And then where is volume 11? The man I wrote to is in the Japanese translation. In the Japanese translation, the romance is in 11 volumes. At the final volume, farewell is missing. Rentaro causing Rentaro ignored him in gesture. Over there, you have Jen Kesher, Dresser by Roland. You can see the first and the last volume, but there should be the middle volume too. And what about the Chronicles of Narnia? Where is the horse of his boy? Where is the book of his treasure? And where is the look of his away on the away surface? Everything seems to perfect order, but when is looked too closely, this shelf is like our mess. Rentaro looked at sailing a great wall at some points, rushing his speech and dragging his wind dropped his brace. This is in a library holding precious book. This is showing often whether the books are managed and get your hand turned. The whole place is nothing but a showroom. Showroom. He paused his a moment. He turned, look at the man, straight his eyes. People who to truly love book don't treat like them. This. Into his mind is slipped memories of his grandfather smiling, contemplating who he would read one favorite over one until his apart when he's completely absorbed his story. Rentaro Gatford is always handled the book in his shop and greatly took care, but he didn't mean treated as a decoration. He'd been obsessed of having some sort of generous exhibition. He always considered of creating well maintained space full of kind of books where people wanted to reach out, pick out, no matter what old and worn they might be. That was made of Rentaro reader. अच्छा रेंटारो रीडर मैं यार रेंटारो का मतलब ये कि वो रीडर इसलिए बना क्योंकि because of his grandfather, because his grandfather has managed the books very well. Where its books are a lot of books, but what make no mistake, the man is white suit played second, but he did not speak in the silence of Rentaro. Find his memories turning ever more fiddly into words. Books have tremendous power, but take care. It is book have holds power, not you. Book have tremendous power, but take care. It's the books that hold the power, not you. अच्छा That's what his grandfather said back when Rentaro was skipping school and spending his day daily reading sleeps and Rentaro would shut himself between the walls of books immensely, word of letter gradually losing all his interest of outside world. Normally, Takade warned his grandson, "It is not true that you read. You more you read, the more you see the world. No, not matter how much world into your head, unless you think your own mind walk into your own field. Knowledge is acquired whenever anything you empty are borrowed." Okay, great quote. And Gateway Rentaro responded, and his son his grandfather calmly continued. Books can't live your life for you. The reader who forget to walk his own feet like old encyclopedia information unless you someone else open it. It is nothing useless antique. The old man gently buffled the boy. Do you want to end up working an encyclopedia? Recalled he answered, but he did not remember. It's a long what he started to going school again. Even so, he was still tending to borrow himself completely. World of books. His grandfather was sleeping, sipping a cup of pretty issue. Occasionally remember it's all well to read books, but when you finished it, I'm set a foot in the world. It finally remember Rentaro that is the world of grandpa awkward condition. The man who with the white book into Rentaro thoughts, but that's how I elevated my status. Collecting all this book, the more book you have, the more powerful you are. That's how I got where I am, and this and that is you are in present them, and so to show them off the power being belongs to entirely to your entire. What are you talking about? You are thinking you are impressive that you build a ridiculous particular showroom just how everyone can see how many books you read. Shut up, fucking bitch. No, they are not in a certain fucking bitch, but I read. The man sit still, no longer avoiding all the presence of reading his book gradually. Angrily, Rentaro, what would be bread like bread you sit as appeared as forehead, but how does society value more the man who read the same book 10 times, a man who read 10 books once each? Even obviously, the man who mostly read, the more respect you get, the more well you read, the fascinating, attractive people find you. I am wrong. Find you. I am wrong. I would not tell you if you are right or wrong, but that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking what I'm talking about was totally confused. The society demands what kind of people respect. I'm not talking about of that. So what are you? I'm saying you, saying that you don't love books. The only thing you love is yourself. As I think already mentioned who truly loves book don't treat them this way. Once again, in deep silence felt over the room. The man seems to be turned. He didn't move in spot of the chair. He hands his gasped his open book. Previously he took arrogant. He looked as if a sunk of whole size smaller, and a slight breeze dropped over the room because still render turned. His fascinated door closed again. The man opened his hand to speak, but he stopped again. Immediately the room was quiet. Once again searched for his right word. Finally he seems to settle on a face. Do you love? I wasn't Deepness, the question of that surprised Rentaro. It wasn't scenery already read the man the man eyes. It was difference in the coldness and coldness in the underbridge demand until now. It was the souter new kind of constitution along a deep sense of loneliness despite of everything. Do you still love books and the phrase and the meaning and to consideration of implementation. I do he said me too. I do me too. And the man's voice was softer, steady, and state was gone. It sounded almost spiritual. Listeners suddenly reassured, curious, and sounded that he remembered him gentle whispering on his brow. He looked around to see the whole room begin to transfer. All the giant display cases. Once the man was widespread and joy, he was beginning to collapse like a sandcastle. One by one, the book was coursed into air like a bird taking. I do really work. I do love book, do you know? And with that the man was carefully closed the book and being written tucked his arm and stood as he did stood and in the nearest display case claimed into the dust is in the air. Its book was not flock migrating bird. Rintaro wagged and away when whole room flicked and flaking rooms. The man in the white looked at him. You are impressive, young man. I am not really. The man held off to cut off, then glanced over the side. It turned out you invited the most troublesome guest, he said with a smile, and Taro realized that he was addressing the woman in the kimono. Mhm. He was materialized now where she was looking different back of them. She made him gate. She had no expression, almost he was wearing a mask. Now his face on his face. You don't need any help of getting home. You will find your way, said the man. His voice was lagging, flaking. As the last of books he turned out to pale, began to fill up in the room, reflecting the migrating books and turning air into wells of witness. The man looked at his vehicle. Well, currently took the well, madam, but I must confess you, most enjoyable time I have ever spent. Same here, guys, same here. I ever spent. I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I'm grateful of you. The woman handfully him should have the white hat which is placed on his head. And he turned out to leave a river where he said the woman beside him just started to lower. He said is how blue his sudden face turned everything into blinding white. At 7 of following morning, when Taro was kitchen, he finished his breakfast and opened the door to bookshelf. He went into turning his light, raising the blind, letting some air into the space. The cold breeze were poured away the stagnant air. Rentaro and swept the the stun Taro and Rentaro the door and switch his blown the feather duster was set up and just dusting up the bookshelf. The routine was on his and the routine was on his grandfather performed every morning. That it was the same scene he observed every morning before going to school. But today was first time he has ever performed the routine himself. He would read so many books in there, but never let help with cleaning. But what on the earth are you doing? Said a voice inside ahead. But then another differently laughed. It's fine. Both voices and Taro owns it would be tree. No idea he was going. He didn't know. His breath was white. He just finished and both buses went around. Seventh arrow, he started to blow me as books are wondering why mindless feel memoriously yesterday strange. There are excellent work of Mr. There are some But the rich voices came into Tabby cat, fine cut fur, and Rentaro pulled a face as he walked stolen towards him, toward the bookshop, narrow space. It was jade green. It was a jade green, and jade green cast into the smile. What's up? I asked. I'm not used to be praised for anything. Rentaro replied. It's good to be it is good to be humble, but there is such a thing. Talking so far. The cat continued towards him. You would manage some more move something, and there is this fact that you have succeeded in releasing a large number of and you large number of releasing you large number that seemed to making you back the home serve yourself without any word. You would have been very able to return yourself, and you would be ended up wondering the terrifying terrifying how the cat spoke. The wing Rentaro spotted a split on the excellent work. We managed to make that through the first laboratory. You are welcome. The Rentaro broke off first level. Oh, it's nothing. Don't worry about it. Rentaro standing in the center of the Nakasumi books. The Tabika slipped behind the legs and beat towards the black. Wait a minute. Oh, you say I don't worry about what? Hey, you, I told you my name is Tiger Teddy. Try to remember. Tiger Teddy. The cat smiled his shoulder. Really outstanding work. Don't change the subject. Rentaro had no sooner uttered his word, reacted a special way, and he found himself standing alone before the wooden wall. It was a whole day since the adventure, but somehow he felt he was still dreaming. Outstanding work, huh? He would hear the Teddy voice in his ear. No one ever has praised him directly before. People had always laughed at him, called him spineless, weak. He was always being avoided because he was always been come. He would not be strangely unsettled, but there was no description belonging to him. There he was so unsettled. He found himself unstable. A book empty himself. He gave the duster again instead of put all his energy in cleaning those outside. He just finished when he heard the front door. He looked at he said Yozaki, his neighbor. समझ योजाकी वही लड़की का नाम है इसी का. Yozaki done his neighbor and the class day for his warm his red paper, and she paid into the bookshop and raised one perfectly straight eyebrow when she saw the Rentaro standing there. What are you doing? Uh, uh, um, what are you doing? For a moment he confused, but when he thought about it, he realized he should have been the one asked for her question. It is 7 in the morning. What are you doing? What are you doing, Sayo? I'm going to for the band practice. I always she raised his left hand to show the black instruction case. And I was passing. I have noticed not a sticky book when you both been closed actually open. I popped into and see what was going on. She stepped across the sun, breathed white, chilled air. You got it enough time to clean the clips of this morning. This must be mean you were planning to heading to school afterwards. She said, handing the lips. Yeah, well, but I am. But to nothing. If you're nothing better than do, then come to school. You are really planning the rest of your school, are you? Before you move. Yeah, I guess so. Sayo, give me stemming boy dangerous. Okay, hey, think about how I feel. I'm on the way of depressed classmates dropping. I'm nice. Rentaro realized whenever we thanked or bringing his homework, and before he realized, but soon he trembled. Thank you for yesterday, Sayo, for puzzle. Did I say something wrong? And Rentaro said, no, I'm just surprised that you didn't even look not happy about yesterday. Now you're standing here thanking me at my face. I wasn't happy about it all. You well who looked would pissed off. Sayo took off. Not especially now, but now says took a little longer. I'm worried about you. Natasuki worried. Rentaro, of course. I looked at your father days and now you have lived to move away. I am worried about you. Then I find you. I haven't realized Rentaro selfishly here talking to Sayo. Uh, Sayo and Sayo has been coming to our duty even though he told to stand. And one moment Sayo was starting his amazement. He suddenly looked away. I don't I don't I don't really pissed off. And Taru was the last word of I don't I wonder I wasn't because of this question. It was very despite seeing Sayo hundred of times it was noticed before um, before bright beautiful eyes we thought of realized his peak of his corner but what seems I have a jug I don't think that's our really bad line Atasuki Dentaro had no answer for that he reached off I got my Genta old t-shirt he finally said pointing awkward towards the back of us if you have time I would oh Rentaro hissed a stupid line that was crumbly in the mind of the guest. What's that? A pickup line? Oh, of course not. But was an intervention someone who have always a spring homework. It's not bad. I'm going to give you a point of effort. Rentaro I'm going to point effort and point effort Rentaro have no side. Sayo I have been copying Darjeeling, plenty of sugar, a bit was and plenty Darjeeling, plenty of sugar. So here we completes our first chapter of cat who saved the world से सिंपली मतलब यहाँ हुआ ये कि द बॉय हेयर गो यहाँ बजाया जाता है लड़का एक लड़की के पास मतलब ओल्ड वुमन के पास वो ओल्ड वुमन बोलते हैं कि कैट बोलता है कि उसको ये इन प्रेजेंट है वो कैट बोलता है ये इन प्रेजेंट है देन दे गो टू अ टॉल मैन हु was a great reader he used to read sorry 100 books a month but but after conversation they knew that he reads only one book one time only then he keeps up and he says that he is book lover but after the conversation with the Rintoro he realized that he was doing the wrong thing and he passes the Rentaro passes the first level. Now he passes the first level. Now what the second level will do we will see a second chapter. Let's go to second chapter. तो चलो आगे शुरू करते हैं कैट हू सेव द ट्रीज सॉरी कैट हू सेव द बुक्स कितना पेज कुछ ज़्यादा ही पेजेस का है भाई ये तो Rentaro grandfathers who have always been mysterious character okay चलो Rentaro grandfather has always been a mysterious character. He seems to be inhabited slightly different reality than the Rentaro knew. A man of few words exclusive, not a stardust or good. He came across a quite wise old man. He would get up at 6 and finish his breakfast by half past time because मतलब यहाँ पर सिंपली यहाँ पर उसके ग्रैंडफादर का हाल चाल बताया गया है. आई थिंक वी कैन स्किप दिस नेक्स्ट पेज. योर ग्रैंडफादर से चल मैं नेक्स्ट पेज आ रहा हूँ अभी नेक्स्ट पेज कर सकते हैं. ओके लेट्स स्टार्ट. Our grandfather is your grandfather is a wonderful human being. He once told Rentaro reaching down and ruffling the body hair. Body hair. And that must have been done when Rentaro was still junior high school. Grandpa had always read. Grandpa had always irate leaving his grandson in charge of his shop. मतलब अपना जो शॉप है उसको देने के लिए वो हमेशा हिचकिचाते थे अपने मतलब उसको सिंपली यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड. But and he took some of the most world troubling problems, and he did everything he would try to bring about the solution. He made the greatest of his effort, dedicating whole mind or to them. He did seriously brilliant work. A silver haired man, absent mindfully stroked and exquisitely cross-cut shape design over a cover and book. But the man broke off. He signed off his scanned bookshelf in front of me. It wasn't enough. He retired from his world stage before accomplishing his world stage. The entire design associated that kind of phrase with his own. What was your grandfather trying to accomplish? Rentaro asked. The old man was smiled. Nothing exceptional. He was trying to just remind people of the obvious, and not often obvious. Not to tell lies, but never bully someone weaker than themselves. To help them those need. मतलब यहाँ पे सिंपली बताया गया है कि उसके जो ग्रैंडफादर मतलब वेंटारो के जो ग्रैंडफादर है वो ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं चाहते ज़िंदगी में. चाहते थे कि हमें किसी को भी सबसे झूठ नहीं बोलना चाहिए. दूसरा, हमें किसी अपने से नीचे वाले को बुली नहीं करना चाहिए. मतलब जो हमसे नीचे है, जो हमसे लेस स्ट्रॉन्ग है, उससे हमें कभी बुली नहीं करना चाहिए. एंड टू हेल्प दोज हु नीड्स. सिंपली काफ़ी अच्छा कोट है. मज़ा आ रहा है आज तो ऐसा पढ़ने में. मुझे बहुत मज़ा आ रहा है आजकल. मुझे भी वीडियो बनाने में मज़ा आता है, आपको देखने में मज़ा आता है, सबको मज़ा आता है. और क्या चाहिए ज़िंदगी में गैस. फुल्ली बहुत 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 मज़ा आ रहा है गैस. Rentaro looked confused, and the old man gripped slightly because obvious is not longer obvious today. Okay. And because of obvious no longer obvious today world. Okay, Rentar, because there's no always today long. He gave a deferred said in today world a lot of what should we obvious be turned upside down. The weak are a stepping stone. Those in need and took advantage. People just get caught in this pattern. Nobody stand up, call it stop. But my grandfather did. मतलब यहाँ सिंपली बोल रहे हैं कि उसके जो ग्रैंडफादर थे वो एक अच्छा आदमी थे. उन्होंने काफ़ी सारे लोग की हेल्प की थी. Yes, he said stop. And he said it was wrong. He patiently kept trying to persuade people. Old man continued to tell the old man how, despite his grandfather's effort, nothing ever changed. As if he was handling an elegant glass carving gently placed on a too heavy volume of the chase tag. There, they were James Gosling, Life of Samuel Johnson. And did you? Okay, थोड़ा सा पास लाता हूँ. As he was handling an elephant carving, and as he was trying to manage an elephant carving, and do you know? Do you have that third volume? To have a third volume to what we do of there left. Second self top, probably next of volunteer. The old man nodded and smiled. He went to the shelf and brought back the volume he had looking for. Are you saying that something happened? And Sepang to grandfather job at university, so he ended up opening the bookshop instead. Yes, I suppose he was just off it, but I wasn't quite like it. Rentaro started blinking at the man. Your grandfather just gave up, run away from putting us in a fight. He smiled. स्माइल कर रही. He simply changed his approach. Your grandfather opened a wonderful second-hand bookshop, and by doing that, he was able to get all kind of amazing books in hand of many people. He believed that the way he might able to begin the right some wrong street think he got twisted. What I mean is that the path he chose, he not exactly the most glorious of road, but just it was typical of a grandfather. The old man paused from the nearest rattling, gave a boy smile. Is it is a bit difficult for you to follow? Is this Rentaro thought? Just at the moment he could not grasp all the details, but if you are seeing like a little differently, if you ask me what has changed, I will able to explain. But somehow in few days you got into the regular rhythm of cleaning, maintaining. You gradually become to understanding the connection between his grandfather and his little shop, Natsuki books, and dusting the bookshop and stopping the front steps was notorious and relatively repetitive work. It was surprising the amount of such an effort, but it had helped me to understand how patient his grandfather has always been, how much he care the old man has always taken. Rentaro looked around the shop and appreciation and the feeling misunderstood. He spent an hour a morning cleaning, arranging the shop. Now step in the winter sunlight filtered through the slate of lattice door and reflected off the wooden floorboard. The cheerful conversation he would hear outside was doubtless group a high school student on their way of morning club activities. The laughs and cries were in cold evening air. And he really was pleasant put of slacking off again. Mr. Potter, yes, what happened? What happened to school? It came from nowhere, but Rentar wasn't faced a familiar voice. He rested his sandal and duster. He turned a look of furry tabby cat sitting on the far end, narrow the back well, investigated, and then replaced his row of books, stretching, writing brush again. Rentar, I would like to welcome you with my Ira Sami, as do you other customer. So would you come by in my front of door for once? That way, suppose you must back the wall. You seem strangely up, don't see me, Mr. Potter, said the cat in the distance. Deep voice in jest. It's be helpful if you expected a little more amazement. I would watch more amazed. I have been thinking you about how you called when you we went the first labyrinth. That means there is going in a bit second one, right? And such amazing power of wisdom, such penetrating insight. Guess me, I will save you troubling from explaining what the second labyrinth. I need your help again. You are not. Rentaro glanced down and never-ending SL of books. You are going to get me, help me rescue books again, and you went the reaction only from horrible correct. Somehow there is a man who study acquire books from all over the world, then coops them into a tiny pieces, said he collects books, then mistreat them horribly. We cannot tell him. Continues to always to resident. Taro sat down and on the stool and chalk and began to fiddle in the glasses. He was silent for a while and observing the tabby at his feet. What the cat was protection. Do you like to think? Do you like to staring at me? Face is going or making better. Are you coming with me or not? You are a pusher, then pusher. You never do anything unless I pushed you, and I can tell you my life got No Razor, if you don't have pusher. The light is green. I seems to get more intense. Rentaro thought it was little white over. Okay, this light just so I wants to follow you again. मतलब सिंपली यहाँ बोल रहे हैं कि यहाँ पर कैट वापस आ गया. अभी वो रेंटारो की फिर से लेनी है. यहाँ पर एक आदमी का डिस्क्रिप्शन दिया गया है जो जो बस बुक खरीदता है. मतलब मेरी तरह आई थिंक मोस्ट ऑफ अस बिगिनर रीडर वुड रिलेट विद दिस सेट. मतलब हम मोस्टली बुक खरीद लेते हैं और उसको पढ़ते नहीं है. बस बुक शुरू की बात कर रहा हूँ. मतलब हम बुक खरीद लेते हैं. बहुत सारे बुक खरीद लेते हैं. फिर उसको हम एक क्या बोलते बुक सेल्फ की तरह उसको जमा कर देते हैं. लगता है हाँ मैं कभी ना कभी पढ़ूँगा. मतलब हमें इंटरेस्ट चले जाता है उस बुक से. कुछ तो ऐसे ही शुरू में जो उसमें खरीद लेते हैं फिर कुछ नहीं आता हमारा. सिंपली इसलिए मैं बोलता हूँ मैं एक टिप्स देता हूँ कि मैं भी टिप्स अप्लाई करता हूँ. अभी जो मैं कर रहा हूँ वो टिप्स मैं अप्लाई कर रहा हूँ कि आप पहले कहीं पर उसका PDF देख लिया. कहीं पर गूगल में सर्च मार उस बुक के बारे में और उसका प्रीव्यू हमेशा आते रहते हैं. गूगल से बुक्स में उसका प्रीव्यू और शुरू के कुछ पेजेस दिए रहते हैं. आप उसको एक पढ़ लो. अगर आपको इंटरेस्टिंग लग रहा है तभी जाके उसको बुक को ताकि क्योंकि पढ़ लेना. क्योंकि आपको दोस्त को सोचेगा आपको यूट्यूब को वो अच्छा लगा, वो आपको अच्छा लगा कि नहीं लगा वो समझ में नहीं आएगा आपको. इससे अच्छा आप यूट्यूब में रिव्यू देख सकते हैं. नहीं तो आप एक बार थोड़ा पढ़ लो थोड़ा सा सो डैट यू कैन नो इट इज़ इन इंटरेस्ट और नॉट. मतलब आपके इंटरेस्ट में है कि नहीं है. तो सिंपली आप यू कैन दिस आर सम वेज सो डैट यू कैन नो विच बुक यू हैव टू बाय एंड विच यू डोंट हैव टू बैक. डोंट जज ए बुक बाय इट्स कवर. मोस्टली मैं भी बहुत बार करता हूँ कि मैं गुड रीड्स बुक्स में जाता हूँ जिसका अच्छा कवर उसको देखता हूँ. पर इट्स बैड बट what we can do. We will try to rest this. The cat seems to take at a back of simple response. It narrowed his eyes. What a refreshing attitude! I thought you were going to start speaking like little worm again. Well, I maybe probably understand difficult concept, but one thing I learned from my grandfather that you should always handle books like a helping people. You might fortune, but then when I hear that book need to help, and then I'm ready. Cat eye whimpered. I woman then narrowed once again. Fine. There are many, and there may be a hint of smile before Antaro would really registered it. They were interrupted by a jingle of a doorbell. He turned out to face and नात्सुकी. You are alive नात्सुकी. मतलब नात्सुकी कौन है? पिछले बार मैंने देखे थे नात्सुकी इसी का नाम है. रेंटारो नात्सुकी. It was a baby voice of class रे. सायो मतलब वही लड़के का नाम. सायो Yuzuki Rentaro glanced at the clock. It was 9:30. She must be in her way. Morning band practice taken. Rentaro went into panic. Who is there? Your girlfriend? Wow. Be quiet. अरे बाप रे गर्लफ्रेंड है इसका. I was only 2 days since Sayo and Rentaro had tea together. Rentaro had always reported play for him to go back to school once since state blood inside Natsuki book. Really, they didn't seem to reason to go school and to book, but he always wept whenever Sayo went in front of him, and in what already he dedicated situation, her always came to type precedence. And the first thing in the morning, while he was taking to the cat, while he was awkward to say the least. Oh, what's up? Nothing of falling slightly. Sayo made her Sayo made her way invited into the shop. Rantaro heard the cat voice whispering in his car. Don't worry, Mr. Potter. Certain people are able to see me, and only some specific conditions. Just act like I am not there. Rentaro was spectaculars, but there are nothing to be done. And you didn't turn up the other day, and it's look like you are not coming today either. No, that's not. So you are coming to school? Today, yeah, I haven't. Rentaro spoke quickly. Sayo glanced. If you take another day off, I am going to bring homework here again. The teacher really worried about you. Do you realize how much stress you are placing on for everyone? As usual, she wasn't be holding back. Yes, already had a misread. Sorry. This isn't saying sorry. If you plan to come, then if you do want to skip, then just skip. I know your situation really right now, but if you keep whipping out your mind and decision, nobody will help you. Sing Sayo rapid fire delivery only made Rentaro feel worse. He believed that he was unimportant, such unnoticed. But look in her class rep. I told different story. The laugh came in just behind. She spot on people were really worried about you, and people are really worried about you. He clearly have more friends than you admit. Tabby seems to be enjoying itself a little too, but Mazarantaro turned out flash, and it paid him no attention. It is a furry cat shaking his laughter, but to Arantaro, Alam Sayo let her soft grass look direction to his foot. Of course, what was there? A pigeon tabby card was sitting. The cat was then followed him extremely uncomfortable silence. Can you actually see me? It asked Sayu in the voice of Tangle, and here my burst to a talking cat. Tabby started in shock. Sayu was looking straight at it. She then shifted her gaze in faint blue eyes far. What's that? Rentalo followed gaze. Handful slowly moved up his glasses. Didn't you mention something? Certain people have specific condition. Yes, that he must be supposed to be that case. The cat was uneasily frustrated. Well, this is a mite of mess now. Natsuki said, Sayo, I am seeing something really weird. Well, that's a relief. I thought it was just me. Rentaro casually responded, left Sayo speechless. The cat, however, had already resigned its usual composure. It faded over to Sayu to give a deep voice. I am Tiger the Tabby. Welcome to labyrinth of book. There was surprising grace in their movement. I am Sayu Yuzaki. The girl still seems to confused, but then in the next instant she reached out to support the cat near her arms. So cute, Rentaro and the cat phrase. So what are you? What are notable Tabby cat? How long it will talk? And are you okay with this? Rantaro whispered to the Fenelin. Sayo was quiet and talking. The cat delightfully voice filled up. The cat feeding itself squashed and cheek to cheek with the girl began to amazing helplessly. So you are married, said Rentaro. Slight or to different girl, boy, and a cat made the way down to central SL. It's a giant trailing bookcase in either side. Tabby and Tabby took the lead, followed by Sayo. Rentaro took off the rear. The cat stared outside silently. Sayo had a light spring to her steps, but Rentaro practically drunk the Sayo. Sayo, you are really out now to turn back. Sayo turned out rolling at Rentaro. What? So you are talking? What? So you are only one who can be fantastic adventure with a talking cat? Fantastic adventure? Rentaro cried again. That time he went tremendous. There's no need for getting involved with stuff. It's dangerous. Sayo gave Rentaro hard look. So Natsuki, you are telling me to shut and let classmate keep putting himself in danger? Well, no, that wasn't I want. Which is it? If you are dangerous, then it should be no problem for me to go with you. If it is dangerous, then what would be good idea for me? Let me to walk into alone. I am right. The phrase state as narrow as coin describes Sayo Yazuki. Rentaro thought he admired her compared to procrastinating wisely and worrying that was Rentaro. Sayo I agree. argument was clear and possessive, welcoming a shirt himself. He wouldn't even try to oppose her. Give it up, Mr. Portraitor. And the cat insisted. Whether whether you whether you look at it, you are going too slow. You are going to lose the battle. You are going to lose a lot. I admit I am in the weaker position, but I don't hear. It is a form of you. I'm saying you chase the whole problem. Well, I guess you would say that, but she saw me. What would you do? The cat was throwing out an unusual quick response, but it didn't was quite. But the same energy it was before. I was still rather second by had transferred. I can't see into I can't see the future. It said I would never just would happen. You was always like act as if you are going to do, but in fact you are not going to winging, aren't you? You're over smart Natsuki सायो ब्यूटेड यू डोंट वरी यू पुअर किटी। मतलब यहाँ पर सिंपली यहाँ पर अभी यहाँ पर सायो के पता चलेगा। मुझे पहले ही लग रहा था कि सायो का कुछ तो लफड़ा चल रहा है। सो नाउ यहाँ सायो ऑल्सो जॉइन देयर ग्रुप एंड लेट्स सी आगे क्या होने वाला है। व्हाट आर यू टॉकिंग? I can't see the future. I see it said I would never guessed what would happen. You always act like if you know what's going you are going to do, but in fact you just winking, aren't you? You are over smart by me. Natsuki Sayo better don't take it over poor kitty. What are you talking about? Take it out on. Well, aren't you? I'm worried about getting my class ripped mixed up. Basic thing I am feel responsible. That's all. Oh, of course, this is a big problem if anything happened to me. If the same anything happened to you too, Natsuki, it is a great witness. Pure seamlessly sing Rentaro tongue try Asayo continued to verbal assured. You know your personality is not all bad, Natsuki, but I can't really stand this part for it. And with that she picked up a pace bravely, following the car farther down long passageway. Aesthetic Rentaro, for whom every action was done in fear, and the cat came over to him. He cooked his look at his face, young love. Hmm. What are you talking about? Just Rentaro managed to mumble his question, but he finally permitted to bright white light. A hospital. That was Rentaro's first thought. They emerged from the dazzling lights in a wide open place with a man and woman with white coats rushing about and to and fro. But mm, mm, but a dizzying light faded away. The space came properly into the view. In the vision has become clearly ahead of them. A giant stone walkway with was about two schools classroom. A depth was assumed to be go forever. The either side of line might be elegant pillar and evenly spaced, supported a grand arched roof. If you took this to two pillar, then it will be resemble as an ancient Greek temple. But there was something and I was odd of these people coming going. They approached from between the pillars, once on one side. They disappeared between the one on opposite side. There were both men and women and wide ranges, but each was dressed like white and carried piles of books in their hands. And movement was identical on the wall. On the wall of each pillar was shelves, all books and reaching in high value, but selling at a regular interval at the foot of the walls. They watched. They made of the giant's liberty. They were largely desk teams. Workers were busily searching for books and shelves and peeling them decks. Next, they would pick up different books and decks and return them to shelves. If you're looking carefully, wouldn't see that there would be a series of narrow pathways cut down a staircase leading to down. The people would emerge to pathway, stop in front of desks and drop and pick up the books, cross over the giants, and walk away and disappear. One more into passageway, other side of the room. It was hectic, dizzying scene. The people scrapping around clapping piles of books, other carefully piling the books into decks, and yet another working at the top of all the ladder. Look at this, and what a amazing place. Sayo was amazed of Frank about her feeling, and she was stared wide eye open. Around the space, a woman hurried to her. No one paid least attention, and no one paid least attention. Teen cat, and cat. No one paid attention to two things and occurred. It was if we haven't noticed them yet. If it was nicely impatient, they would dodge the part of around it and treat tremendous. So it wasn't with that they would see, but two curious thing all was that there were many people running around the place, yet single word conversation. Somewhere in there, person cutting the books. So somewhere in there, there's a person cutting the book. Book asked Rentaro. That's what I heard. What are you going to do there? The cat songs. Look for them. The cat quickly approached nearest man. He called him. Excuse me, I would like to ask you something. The man stopped at his track and pile of book. A man in his arm. He looked down and stabby cat obvious reduction. He's a middle-aged man, well-developed complexion of body. What said I am busy? What is the hell place is this? Asked the cat. The cat tone was coniferous, but the man reply was not. In fact, this is Institute of Reading of Research, where you have the largest research facilities dedicated to all except of research. The man ignored Sayu and further borrow. Then I would like to meet the person in charge, and said the cat. A person in charge, right? The head of faculty, the director of, if you're calling it is a research institute. May I should call you doctor or professor? You are looking for, yeah, give it off, said the man before blinking. There are many people in the world of title of professor of the sky. Japan is full of professor. Try it out, professor. Right now, 4 out of 5 scholars in the room will be turned around. Their professor would be particularly full of speech. There are thousands of this in there, except in everything of reading. Yes, I mean, there are always a brand new professor turning up a field of season things. Your name is this place is overflowing them. If here you have done very miserable thing. Here you have done a lot of luck finding someone who wasn't be profession. The cat looked disappointed at the man's response, and later looked at advantage of the momentum of the silence. They beat the silence of the goodbye and go. Here you looked as a flagged finding someone who isn't a professor. Cat looked disappointed at the man's response, and the letter to advantage movement silence of it. goodbye on the way. His cat looked after him, but was already disappointing into me. Sayo started blankly after the. What the hell was that? The cat ignored Rentaro and set off again the giant walkway, stopping and a cat. Rentaro, what was hell was that? The cat ignored Rentaro's set off. Rentaro set off along a giant walkway, stopping the next man cross. Its part is it was different age and build of previous one, but same completeness. Complexion was carrying a smiley pile of books. What wasn't it? I'm really busy. Where you are looking for someone? You looks better not. The man spoke. It is a vast research faculty, full of men who looks alike. Everyone eager to witness every silver since and everyone is equally assisting. Something unique about anyone. It's turned out impossible to distinguish between them. In this place, like you are trying to you are particular someone. It is difficult. It is not difficult. It is not difficult. Meanwhile, goodbye, and with that he was gone. Next to a cat spoke relative man, young man, but her worst face and worst compliment. Two men, just as they were looking around the foot for a 40 person to ask, Sayo collided with a young man who lost his grip, his pile of books and I am sorry, she said boldly. The man threw her look of contract quickly gathered to Rentaro began to help her, but suddenly came to half and bookish and recommendation for whole new world of reading or whatever he looked at. It was a poor title for the body. Where is the person who wrote this book? He asked. You are losing for the man who wrote this book, Rentaro repeated. If you're looking for the director, go down the staircase, the director office, you will find there. His arms are full of books. Once again he flicked up the change in direction of one pillar and asked behind his tiny set of reading. The direction is diverted to his research that he looks himself and down his office. Rarely comes to grounds. But if you are going down there will bound to meet him someone. His reply managed to pop us without showing up. And where's the person who wrote the book? Okay, sorry, we have read this. Sayo words. Some and director devoted research. He looks himself the office rarely ground for. If you are going to down, you are born to meet him somehow. He replied to manage the purpose without slowing. Thank you, said Rentaro boxing. But the time he lifted Rentaro, but blind he lifted the man obviously with disappointing staircase opposite in the hell. They were set off down to the staircase, but soon they realized but reason didn't be so. Then that is why the set force of ground levels grumbled Sayo. Her voice was immediately sucked down and chose dull slowly somewhere deep below them. It was said, do you think it's okay to keep going? If you think And her voice was immediately sucked off and answered, "Do you like? Okay, keep it. If you want, always, I will always come to your home," replied Rentaro. I have always been kind to get recommendation. Go, all, all right. Every favor he's been just turn right around as if for me. I am in once to school. Thought Sayo verse seems to brighten the glory. Rentaro immediately fell silent, and the Rentaro, the star of begins to the dark mode के professor बेल बेल बेस